Welcome and thank you for watching. As always, this is Afro Revolt, a channel that tries to bring to you whatever is trending across the globe. Now, I came across this video of an Arab man saying that America will control the world over and over again due to the ways they've held captive those who they feel that are poor countries. Now let's hear from this Arab man on how he feels America is sabotaging other countries and comment to it later.
Both the biggest exports and the strongest weapon the US has. See, the way they weaponize it is by lending it out, by forcing people to use it, and thereby creating the network effects where everyone needs to use the US dollar. And the key part is, this is something they just create out of nothing. They don't even have to print it. They just like type it up and then boom, like billions just appear, okay? And how do they get the whole world to use it? Well, first, they package it in like a nice thing called US aid. So US aid comes to a country that's struggling, like, oh, we'll do a study for you and we're gonna give you a loan. We're gonna help raise you out of poverty and build roads and infrastructure and stuff. They get the study and then they give the study to the ruler of that country, whether it's the king or whatever. Of course, if it's a leader that doesn't want the help, they'll just overthrow him, like they've done with countless regimes in the world, okay? But let's put that aside for now. So then that leader takes that US aid study, even the way they call it aid, and takes it to their parliament and gives it to the press, and oh yeah, look, America's going to give us all these billions of dollars to create a new highway and a new port and a new whatever. And then of course one of the terms is that you have to employ American firms and Western firms, and to build these things because they have the expertise, of course. Yeah, they have the experience and expertise. It's for your own benefit. And then you get the IMF loan, okay, or the World Bank loan. They're both the same, by the way. And of course, the idea of these loans is to never be repaid. The whole idea is that they are like, they're not working for it. It's not someone's capital, so no one wants it to be repaid. The idea is they give it to these countries, and of course, after a few years, they can't repay. By the way, not a single country in the history of the IMF has ever repaid back its loan. And eventually, even the ones that do, you're gonna have to repay back the loan with interest. Of course, this is not a charity. IMF and the World Bank are not a charity, although they position themselves as such. And like, the weird thing is that even the people who work there think that they're doing good for some reason. Like, they're just smart enough to carry out this thing, to believe this shit, but dumb enough not to see the big picture of how they're actually fucking over the entire global south. So of course, once you're on the debt, you never repay it back, and you have to refinance and refinance. And every round of refinancing, there's little conditions. Actually, you should privatize your telecommunications. You should privatize your ports. And, we just so happen to have great telecom companies and great port management companies, etc. And slowly. And then, you know what? I think you should remove subsidies on your fuel, because that's how you can repay back the loan better. And we're giving you economic advice. And then this is where the true evil begins. Oh, like all your agriculture, instead of planting crops that you need for subsistence, how about you plant some cocoa or stuff that's easier to export, and you'll make more money selling it on the international markets, okay? So then a condition of these loans would be to subsidize these crops that are for export, not for subsistence, okay? So effectively what happens after that is that you're in debt and you can't feed yourself. So you're dependent on them for money and dependent on them for food. And this is how the empire weaponizes its dollar, its biggest resource and most powerful weapon. This is all available in a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. I encourage you to read it. It's fascinating. It gives you all the details and all that. It sucks, but like, this is why I keep talking about this issue here, because like the money, it's a
Yes. Now, before I continue giving my comment on this video, I want to read a certain article that gives us a view on how the dollar controls the world. And this article was written by Zoho CEO called Sridhar Vembu. And Sridhar Vembu comes out with the theory that the US controls the world through the dollar. And this is what he had to say. Based on the real dollars that were generated through commerce with the US, international banks begin to create more dollars, assets and liabilities. After many years of taking this action, total global dollar bank balance sheets, which fall under non-Fed jurisdiction, far outweigh the amount of US deficits or real dollars. Now, it goes on to say that although the Fed does not control those global dollar balances, its actions have a significant impact. When the Fed maintains low interest rates and creates money, real dollars are easier to come by and global dollar balances increase more quickly. Everyone seems to be doing well and there are plenty of dollars around. Now, this is very interesting. It says that some of those increasing global dollar balances return to the US and are invested in equity and real estate markets there. Because of rising wealth asset inflation, this feels like a time of prosperity for the US as well. Consumer prices in the US begin to soar. Now, the Fed takes action when consumer prices begin to rise and increases interest rates, decreases money creation, and initiates quantitative tightening. Problems begin. The tighter real Fed dollar condition is reflected in global dollar balances. Rates of interest rise. To repay, borrowers now require dollars. Now, due to the rush for dollars by borrowers with the international dollar debt, for instance, the IMF that is almost crippling Africa. Now, it says that currencies fall against the dollar because debtors are selling US assets in a panic to raise real dollars. The equity and asset markets in the US fall. US financial markets crash. Now, that's in case of an unfortunate instance. But always, the rising global dollar issues compound the issues facing the US market, forcing the Fed to intervene by reducing interest rate. Look at this, by reducing interest rates and printing money again. Balances in real dollar grow as they are more readily available and inexpensive. In this cycle, now I want you to get this point because this is what I was coming to. In this cycle, it is time for the US market to collapse, and it is widely believed that the Fed will pivot because of these recurrent cycles. Global dollar balances are extremely large and exceed the size of US. Now, listen now. Countries desperately need more dollars as a result of repeated cycles, and the race for real dollars, therefore, they want the export to the US. Due to the deluge of imports sparked by this race of dollars, the US gradually moves to a level that it can control these economies. Now, I want to give an example whereby the IMF forced the Kenyan government or advised the Kenyan government to raise taxes on Kenyans so that they can service their loans. And this one was a way of controlling the markets of Kenya and ensuring that they milk Kenyans. And this is also a manner or a technique used by the USA to hold captive these regions that are underdeveloped and make them their slaves. Now, I want you to make a comment on this issue on our comment section so that we know what you feel about it. And also, if you're watching us for the first time, do not forget to subscribe to our channel so as we get to have a continued engagement. Now, I want to thank you for watching this and welcome once again. May God bless you.